So like I can sit here and admit if Vanessa Bryant moved on, I'd feel a type of way about it.
Yes, I get that because from what I saw, people were all up in arms about it because she said something about she will never Hey guys, welcome back to the Less Say More podcast. I am Solange.
I'm Ava.
And we're back.
We are back.
We took a little hiatus.
Yes.
Kind of regrouped.
Brought it back together.
And we're back. We're back with an easy, fun episode for you guys today. We're going to talk a little bit about current events, what's going on, and a little bit about the Diddy stuff, a little bit about the gay community as far as JoJo and Fletcher and what's the other one? Billy, all being straight now.
It's typical women, though.
I mean, but okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So let's start with, are these gays still gay?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they were gay like that to begin with. I kind of think that they were trying to figure themselves out. And unfortunately for them, it was like on camera.
I don't know. I think that they are still part of the queer community. So I wouldn't say that, oh, now they're straight. I think the problem that people are having with it from all the TikToks I saw is that Fletcher, who is now going by Carrie,
that's her actual name, right?
Actual name. Her whole identity was being a lesbian. Her whole thing was that she was a lesbian and, that whole thing. And she made all this gay music. By gay music, I mean, she talked about being with girls. Yeah. And now she went full swing the opposite direction and apparently made this song where it's
isn't it called Boy?
Yeah. But it's this vibe is she's I don't know, what's
I haven't heard it.
Little Girl on the Prairie. What's that show called?
Little House on the Prairie?
Little House on the Prairie. She's a little girl on the prairie.
What are you thinking about?
She's all innocent and and sweet and demure.
Well, he popped her cherry.
But have you seen this guy?
No.
Okay.
I really don't even know what she looks like.
He is very interesting. He's very, I can't quite put my finger on it.
Is he artsy?
If he's more, God, I don't even know what I would call him. His music is interesting because if you listen to his music, it does not sound like it would be coming out of him if you look at him. Mm-hmm. He kind of has this rock, but gothy, medieval, I don't even know what to call it vibe, but he seems a little religious to me. Religious or spiritual, which I also thought was kind of interesting. So I guess that's her boyfriend now. I don't really know much about him. I don't know much about the whole situation, but I think people are all up in have their panties in a bunch because of the drastic turn of events. Not that she's necessarily dating a guy, because I think most people would be like, that's fine, you're queer, you're bi, you can date whatever you want, right?
So yes. The girls are all butthurt about it.
Because she is now...
Because they felt they needed to know her every move.
No, I think it was more of the whole she's now dating a guy, but she announces it during Pride Month, and then she goes all Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, maybe I'm just out of touch with it because it's Pride Month for a group of people, but for her, it's just another June.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just saying maybe it was her self-pride. Maybe she finally figured out what her sexual preference was. And maybe it was her.
It wasn't even, I don't think it's about figuring out your sexual preference. I think it's that she just fell in love with this dude.
And that's just what it is.
Who knows? Maybe she'll fall in love with the chick afterwards.
Or maybe they have a thruple and we don't even know about it.
Yeah. right?
Like, we don't know.
But that's the general consensus from what I got from all the TikTok videos I saw. Not necessarily that they're mad. Some are mad that she's dating a guy because I don't know why.
Once you go to a woman, you're not allowed to date a guy.
Does identifying as a queer person mean embracing fluidity, or are there still rules within the community?
I really don't care who you date as long as you're not trying to date my person. But I mean, I've been with someone that only dated me as far as a girl and was attracted to men. I was like the only girl, but when she went and became a wife and a mother, like, I mean, I don't know if the gay community would have embraced her any different if I was like a celebrity. Yeah. I think we just get connected. We feel connected with certain celebrities. And I think
because they're like us.
They're like, so like Fletcher, for example, resembled certain women in the community, right? So then they felt connected to her. And now that she is with a man, they're like, oh, wait, what do we have in common?
Right.
And I feel my opinion is it's a little closed-minded because as I've gotten older, I've learned to just let people do what they want.
Yeah.
And the guy's probably giving her something that a woman couldn't. And that I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about like maybe he softens her up a bit. Maybe he listens to her. Maybe she feels safer with a man. You know, who knows? Or she could be bi, where if this doesn't work out, she goes back to a woman. But then is the community going to say, okay, or are they going to try to kick her out?
Well, to me, it's like you're part of the queer community. What does that mean? That means that you are part of a community that embraces all different kinds of people. You're open-minded, supposedly. It's the whole point of being in a queer community to the queer people, right? Is that you are open-minded, you embrace all kinds of people, you embrace all sexualities, like you're more open to people and whatever their, preferences. You're not judging them per se, right? So for me, I think when it comes to somebody who has predominantly dated women, I think it's more like we should just be happy for the person that they found somebody that they're into and that they fell for. And who cares if that person is male or female or non-binary? Like to me, it doesn't matter as long as they're happy with it. And I'm not going to pigeonhole you into a category. Like, I don't want to be pigeonholed into a category. If I was somebody who was, open or fluid or whatever, like I fell in love with who I fell in love with. You should still embrace them for who they are because they're still part of the community. They just happen to be dating a guy right now. That doesn't make her straight. I mean, now if she came out and said, I'm straight, I'm only dating men.
Watch, she's going to come out and say it tomorrow.
Then that's a different conversation. I mean, at that point, I don't know. But the other one that bit the straight fruit, the forbidden fruit, I don't know, the straight fruit.
That drink the straight juice.
Drink the straight juice is JoJo, right? But I think our question with JoJo is her soft era.
Because I think the man made her soft. I think that she was the provider, she was the protector, and this guy came around. And I didn't watch Big Brother because it's the guy.
I was gonna say, where did she meet this guy?
First of all, he's from Love Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course. Okay. Boo. Tell us.
And then
break it down. Who is this guy?
They went on to Big Brother. I don't watch Big Brother.
Yeah, me either.
But they went on Big Brother, and then apparently she was dating a girl, and then some people said she was cheating. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But then she fell for this guy. So I think he softened her up because he took on the role that she's used to taking. And as women, we want to be taken care of, whether it's from a guy or a girl. Like we want to feel protected, right? I mean, I do. And I have.
I think it depends because I am more alpha in my relationships.
Yeah, I don't think she was a true alpha.
Which is also probably why I don't think I could be with a guy. Because I'd be like, let me spoon you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think that, I guess that's a question. Do you think that we as women, gay women, or, you know, there's a spectrum of gay women, let's say somebody who's more on the masculine side, is it that they date or they date women, and in those relationships, they're more of the masculine, like, you know, energy.
Yeah.
And now you're dating a man, so she's now softened her energy and feels more in tune with her feminine energy.
Yeah, because she wasn't going to date a woman that looked like her, because that's not what she was attracted to as far as women go.
Right, but then you date a man
But then she's in Big Brother where they can't go anywhere. So she had no choice but to get to know him. And I think she let her guard down. And she's like, this actually feels nice. Like, I think if she was in the same situation in Big Brother and the boy was a girl, but like a masculine girl, and she gave that masculine girl a chance, I think she'd go for that.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think I don't think she's a true alpha. I think I think JoJo Siwa, my opinion, was an act. She's an act from when she was younger and she was doing all that stuff for the little girls, to, you know, riding around in the pink purple car. I think she's a personality.
Right.
And I think in Big Brother, you're vulnerable, and the real you is because you're stuck in that freaking.
What is the show even about?
Big Brother is.
I know there's a bunch of cameras and you
Cameras
live in a
and
house.
they watch you, and I don't know the point of the show. That's one reality show I don't watch.
What do you do? Like vote people off
I think
the island, out of the house?
I think you get voted out of the house.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I like the love shows. Like I'm on Love Island
But
right
isn't there love in Big Brother too?
now. I guess.
Don't they all sleep with each other as well?
There's like 200 seasons. I don't have time for that.
I don't know. I don't watch any of it, but
You should watch Love Island. But like they are super in love right now.
I think that one was more of a shocker though. Because she is more on the masculine side, more of the tomboy girl.
Yeah, she said she's
more
gay
like
pop.
Yeah, and like now she's dating a guy.
Yeah.
So it was like very shocking to people.
She makes
to
out with
see
in the
her
airport.
with this guy being all soft and sweet and cuddly when her personality is so kind of like
rough.
Yeah. I think that's the part that's more shocking to me.
But I think that's why I think it was all just a show. I think she was just being a personality. I think deep down she's this little softie.
Do you think that there are people, whether you're in a relationship with like a man or a woman, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like there are people who bring different sides of your sexuality, your gender, or your personality out. So like they make you softer or...
Yeah. They make you like putty, or they make you harder because you feel like you have to be. I think we as humans, we go into like a shell or we remove the shell depending on who we feel safe around.
Yeah. I could definitely say that I'm more vulnerable now than I have in the past.
Okay.
And I've been more feminine as well now than I have in the past in other relationships.
It'll be interesting when they break up, if she's gonna come out, if she's gonna come out with like, you know how I feel like all the greatest albums are made through like heartbreak, like Adele's album or like
art in general,
Christina Aguilera, like Mariah Carey, like all of those albums. Usher, God, I'm going through memory lane.
Yep.
And so I wonder what kind. Not that I do not listen to her music.
I was gonna say,
but
I don't even know a song that she sings.
I don't either. But it'll be just interesting to see like what she does with that breakup.
Yeah.
But right now she's enjoying it, and I think, yes, it was a shocker. But I feel like, okay, guys, just let her. She's young.
Let her experiment. Let her do her thing. The problem I think that we have is that these poor celebrities can't do anything because they're under a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And like everything they do is like viewed and judged and seen by the public. And you're like, that's not gay.
That's not gay enough.
You're not gay enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. It's like, let her just be.
Yeah.
Let her canoodle with this guy. Let her have her kicks and let her decide if,
She's going to end up pregnant next month.
Oh my God. That, I don't know
Well, she
about that.
already said, I think in an interview, she said she has her kids' names tattooed on her. That's what, I'll tell you this. When she said that, I knew she wasn't going to be that forever. I promise you. I just remembered that interview.
That is
She's
crazy.
like, yeah, I got my kids, because her voice is always,
Yeah.
I got my kids' names tatted on me.
What if she meets like a wife or husband that doesn't want the same names as she does?
That's the thing.
Those were my future children that I didn't get
She's
to
going to cross them out.
cross them out and write the name underneath.
Oh my God. Or just get the tattoo removed.
I just don't think you should tattoo things that have not necessarily.
Like Pete Davidson when he tattooed Kim's kids' initials on him.
He did?
Yeah, like I think
Oh my
right
God.
here.
Isn't he like removing all his
Yeah,
tattoos?
he removed a bunch.
Not all.
Not all yet, but I think he wants to remove all of them.
That's crazy to me. I wonder why.
He said the reason. Now I don't remember it, but he did say the reason if we Google it.
I wonder if it's because he had a very addictive lifestyle, right? So I think that maybe like when you have that kind of life, you do a lot of things that you later maybe once you've sobered up and you're living cleaner,
thinking clearer,
thinking maybe this doesn't represent who I am now. So let me
get rid of Kanye's kids' initials that are on me.
Yeah.
Why would you? I would never do that.
Would you ever get a tattoo of your partner's name on you?
No.
Your wife's name on you?
No, I have her handwriting. I'm not getting Fernanda on me.
That's fucked up.
Right?
Why not?
No. No.
What if she got off on her?
She wouldn't. I wish she would get something.
What do you mean? Doesn't she have something of yours?
No.
So you have her handwriting. She doesn't have your handwriting?
I have Mel's handwriting and hers.
Oh. I thought it was like a mutual thing.
No. She did tell me for a few years, though, that she was going to get something of mine, but...
Maybe she could just get an A.
Or just like my birthday in Roman numerals would be fine.
I mean, an A could be anything.
Yeah,
later on,
if
she ever wants to.
It could be Mel's middle name.
Yeah, if she ever wants to like not have it be Ava.
Yeah, she could be like, "This is Mel's middle name." Cool.
Put an M in front of it.
Yeah, cool.
There you go. Now it's something else.
Yeah, but no, I wouldn't. Would you ever get someone's name?
A full name?
Yes.
No. Initial? Yes. I don't even have my mom's name tattooed on me, but I do have her handwriting. Yeah. And I have other things. I got my dad's nickname, but I don't have like a hard yes or no.
Got it. Okay.
Maybe my kid's name if I had a kid at some point. I don't know.
I would get something of my kids if I.
But I don't know if it would be a name. I think it would be something else that represents them.
Yeah.
Same as like my partner. Like I would get something that represents them, but not necessarily like their name.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think names sometimes are
tacky.
I didn't want to say that because there's probably people with name tattoos on
Yeah,
them.
I mean, I didn't say you're tacky. I'm just saying.
I just don't like it.
You don't like it.
For me.
Yeah, I have a name on me. It's Hannah's name, though.
Aw.
That's the only name I have.
Where?
On my shoulder.
Oh, like this?
Well, it's Hannah and then her middle name right here.
I want to say I've seen it.
Because once Lily gave her a name, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Hannah's just so exciting.
Aw.
Yeah. How far is too far? Kinks, consent, and relationship limits.
Our next topic.
The Diddler allegations and the women who claimed they
Diddy.
Yeah, but they call him the Diddler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why do they call him the Diddler?
You don't know why?
No.
Oh, I don't know either.
I thought you were looking at me like I'm...
No. I don't know. We could ask ChatGPT later.
Okay.
Your wife. The Diddy allegations and the women who claim they went along with things to make him happy. Oh, man, oh, man. What day are they on the trial?
I don't even know.
I don't know either.
It's been a while, though. Did it start in May?
I don't remember.
I want to say it started like May 5th or something like
Cinco
that.
de Mayo, maybe. In a relationship, how much should someone be expected to do to satisfy their partner's desires, especially when it crosses into discomfort or risk?
That's a good question. I think that given the current situation, from what I've heard, a lot of these women seem to have the same narrative where they say they did it to make him happy and to please his kink, which is something that I think is fine if you're with your partner, you love your partner, and you want to, make them happy and do something that's going to make them happy and fulfill their desires. I think that there are boundaries and limits to that. I do think that you also have to be somebody who is open to doing things that maybe are a little outside your comfort zone, but that you're kind of into. Because if it's something that you're totally not into and you're doing it, then as your partner, that would make me not want to participate in that with you, because I would be like, you're not going to enjoy this.
Yeah, and I don't.
Why do I want to do something that you're not going to enjoy with you? But I do think that it seems to be mostly, I don't know if this happens in same-sex relationships, but it seems to be something that I've noticed a lot with like women and like super alpha males, or like males with power, or, like him, for example, where they put themselves in these situations that they would not normally want to be in.
Yeah.
Because they want to, please him. And then they find themselves in these really scary situations as things like evolve and get crazier. Like, I think he is just on another level.
Where do we draw the line between love, loyalty, and manipulation?
He's definitely manipulative. That is 100% manipulation right there.
Yeah, but when you're in it, you just don't realize that's what's happening.
Yeah, if somebody's manipulating you and telling you like, oh, this is something if you don't do this, you don't love me.
Or if you don't do this, you're not getting this record deal.
Yeah,
or something,
like
right?
that is like blackmail. That's a whole other level of just disgusting behavior.
What responsibility do people have for creating safe, mutual kink boundaries?
I think they have all the responsibility.
I think
you should definitely have discussions and be open to those discussions and open to the other person's desires and kinks. And everybody wants to make the other person that they're with happy.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you're maybe hesitant about, or you don't know enough about, or you're scared, or, it's a conversation you can have, and who knows? I often wonder how many times people are in a relationship where one partner is more experienced than the other in whatever that may be.
I think that it is the responsibility of the person that knows more about it.
Yeah, 100%.
To do that.
To be the one that like leads the experience and the conversation.
I agree with you. Can power and fame blur the lines of consent? And how does that influence how we see celebrity relationships?
100%.
Yeah, I don't really idolize a lot of celebrity relationships because I don't know if they're genuine. I feel like they're all business. It's a majority of it is like business.
I think that because Hollywood has had such a bad rap with relationships, I think it's a hard one to say. I'm sure there are relationships in Hollywood that, are very genuine and very real, and they've stood the test of time, But I think that being in that environment and in that career, it's hard because you're constantly like constantly forced to be like, you're constantly put in these situations where people manipulate you, people want to entice you, people want to like persuade you, and then you get wrapped in these like weird situations. And I think a lot of times people don't live their authentic self as their authentic selves because they have to represent a certain persona. And you have a lot of people in your ears telling you what to do and how to be and who to date and how, so I think that a lot of times, they're often dating people that they don't want to be dating because they're put in these situations. And so it doesn't come off as authentic, or they're not allowed to come out, or they're,
like Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
I think she's gay.
But I think that there's people that that are definitely taken advantage of in that type of environment because there's hierarchy. Like, they have money, they have power, and they're going to do what they want with you. They have control, and it happens in Hollywood, it happens in politics, it happens in a lot of different situations.
I think Hollywood is weird as it is. Like, I think Beyonce and Jay-Z, like at one point I really was like, oh, this is great because I like both of them. And then things kind of shifted a little bit for me with them. And like, I just think Hollywood, I don't think it's as authentic. Does that mean all of Hollywood? No, I'm sure like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, I feel like that's, I feel like it's genuine. I hope it is. I think for show, it's like you see A and B, they're here, but I think A and B have their own.
Like Jada and Will?
Yeah, I do. I think most of them are like in open
marriages.
I think so.
Or open relationships.
I think so, but I think they'll never come out and say it because it goes against
society.
Yes.
Society norms. Yeah. I mean, I think Jada and Will were in an open relationship.
Yes.
They were swingers and the whole
Are
thing.
they still together?
So they're still married, but they live
They're
separately.
They're separated. Oh, I didn't know that.
But they're still married, apparently. Oh. From what I heard, like they're trying to work on their relationship. I don't quite, she wrote a whole book about it.
Did she? Well, she was going around saying, while they were married, wasn't she going around saying that like Tupac was like the love of her life?
Yeah, like stuff? But I think, I think that
you think that's okay to do?
No, well,
like it's one thing to think it, right? Like you could think it, but if I'm married to you and we're public figures, and I go and I say my ex, who I was never married to, never had a child with, was the love of my life, and I have this whole life built with you, with children and everything. Isn't that disrespecting you in a way?
I mean, yes, but also I think that it depends on their relationship. Like it depends on how they, it could be that he knows that and he's fine because the guy's dead. I mean, who the hell knows,
Yeah.
I think if he was alive, maybe it'd be a different story. But I think that I think that they had a very open relationship in that sense, and some boundaries were probably blurred and crossed. And I think that he wasn't as squeaky clean as, no,
I don't think he was.
Makes himself to seem.
No.
But I do think that they've had their trials and tribulations in their relationship. I definitely think that they were more open in Hollywood. I think there's a lot of relationships in Hollywood that are like that.
Yeah.
But I think that they don't publicize it, obviously, because it's not society's norm, right?
They need to get society used to stuff like that being normal.
Totally. It should totally be normal. Monogamy is not for everybody, and that's okay.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
If you're okay with doing that, if you and your partner are okay with it, cool.
Like
do your thing.
Yep. If you are with somebody who is on the same page as you, as far as like whether you both want to only be with each other or you both want to be in, like in a monogamous relationship or in a non-monogamous relationship or in a relationship that, I don't know, has your own rules that you make up on your own, who cares? I don't care.
But that's why I think that we should but maybe
it should be normalized. But the problem is it's not normalized because everything is about being right, like with that one person, with your man and a woman, and they're married forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, you only have sexual relationships with each other to procreate and only procreate.
Yeah.
You know, like it goes back to old school mentalities and old school way of thinking because, in my opinion, that just inflicts control.
Did you hear that rumor about Vanessa Bryant being pregnant?
Yeah, but it's not true.
I know, thank God.
Supposedly that she was dating like
Supposedly she was
his friend or something like
yeah,
that.
but it's not true, and like everybody was going crazy about it.
Yeah, she came out, I think, and posted a
Yeah.
meme or something with
Yeah,
the middle finger Rihanna's
and I
meme.
was like, okay, I'm like, thank God. You know, people are like, well, he's been dead, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing.
But she should be allowed to move on too.
But you see what I tell you, like with the whole Fletcher thing, right? It's like you look at this person as something, and then when they don't do it. So like I can sit here and admit, if Vanessa Bryant moved on, I'd feel a type of way about it.
Yes, I get that because from what I saw, people were all up in arms about it because she said something about she will never remarry.
She did say that.
And
so
I'm like,
stick
yeah,
by
of
that
course
word.
she's not going to remarry. She doesn't want somebody else to take all her money that he left her.
He did leave
She's
her a
not
lot.
stupid.
He left her a lot.
That's my opinion on that. But do I think that she's going to have her fun and be
she doesn't need to
able
have her
like
fun.
she's
They're
young.
Sex toys. They're sex toys.
Oh my God, she's young.
Nah,
If she wants to move on, she should be able
She
to
needs
move
to live her
on.
life for her children and wait to be a grandma.
Oh, okay. We'll remember that.
Yeah. I'm going to be dead first. And if you guys let Fernanda get remarried, I'm haunting all of you.
Why is it that when we're in our own relationships, we're like, you should not know. You can only be with me, and if I die, you have to be miserable for the rest of your life.
What's God forbid.
You cannot date anybody else. You can go have sex with other people, but you cannot date somebody.
God forbid Fernanda were to pass. I wouldn't be miserable, meaning like I'd be sad without her, but you don't think I'd be going on like vacations and taking her with me in some form and showing her the world? I'm not remarrying. And I'm not doing any of the other stuff. She'd haunt me.
Sure, boo. I believe you.
Shut up. You're supposed to believe me. All right. I wouldn't be miserable. I'd be sad.
You definitely would not be
But I would never be
miserable.
miserable. All right.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this episode up here. Thank you so much for listening.
And that's it. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Later, booze.
Later, booze.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Let's Say More podcast. If you can please show your love and support by writing a review on Apple Podcasts, rating us on Spotify, and of course, spreading the word and sharing us with your community, we would greatly appreciate it. The Let's Say More podcast is produced by yours truly, Solange Aurelio, and Ava Mozafari, and edited by myself as well, Solange Aurelio.